Welcome to my doghouse. This is about deception for profit. And what I mean by that, people are out there are willing to deceive others for personal gain. Yes, on YouTube, other platforms, and in life in general. They're all the same. So you can find people on here and everywhere else in the world that they are willing to use deception for personal and monetary gains. In our life, we've gone through this since we were children to adults. It does not make it right, and it does not mean you turn your head all the time and ignore it. Sometimes you have to stand up to those that are deceiving in our lives. There's a person on here, more than one, but has sold his soul to the devil to make money for himself. And he's taken out other people with him in his way. He deceives people by saying that they're his friends, but when they disagree with him on something, they get rid of him. Heck, I got a neighbor about the same way. But the big difference is one guy's got a lot of money and my neighbor don't. So even at that, people that deceive are not necessarily rich. They can be poor and they can be rich. It don't matter. Deceiving is deceiving regardless of who's doing it. Now, I know another person, he deceives people on here and sacrifices other people for monetary gain. He will say, "Oh no, I don't do that." But go look at the evidence. These are my opinions too, by the way. It's not factual at all. Don't take it as factual. You have to do your own research and your own way of thinking to move forward on this stuff. But this guy will go out and has said that he's lost money with what he's doing and going after another person. And everybody that looks, and I know there's ways to look how another person's making money and their graph of how they've gained or lost. I don't look into that myself. But others have got on here and said, no, he's lying because he's making more money, not less. So that is a deception. A deception that he's making people try to think he's good. Well, he's really not. He's not telling you the truth. And deception can go in different ways all the time. How many of you got neighbors they deceive for their own personal gain? One thing we need to do is recognize it. That's one of the biggest things. Recognizing the problem. Whether you can act on it or not, that might be a different set of circumstances. Just because you know and see somebody that's doing this, don't mean you're in a position you can do anything about it. But are people in positions that can call people out at times because they're close by. That's a different story. They can stand up and they can do something. And right now there are a lot of people doing stuff. You can have a great big old deal making GoFundMe accounts and saying it's go to this or that. It's Christmas coming up. We're going to take all this money and do good for Christmas. And it can be used as a deception, not a reality. Look at your people out there that go and say, well, I'm starting a charity. This is what my charity is. And say they take in $20,000, they'll say 19,000 or more was for expenses. And that's a deception to make money. And believe me, there's people out there that do that on GoFundMe to whatever to get money. Then they turn around and say, well, this was not so much GoFundMe, but other charities. They'll come out and say, well, look at all this money it cost me to do it. You know, that's here and there a lot of times too. You know it. And if you're still contributing to something like that, or somebody's saying they're doing good, and you know they're not, and you contribute to them, it's your fault, not the guy saying it. It's your fault for falling for it. The guy shouldn't say it, but you have to have responsibility to what you are doing. You can't follow somebody and say, boy, I'm going to keep doing it like this. I can gain a lot. No. Be aware of what you are doing above what somebody else is doing. Are you doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Are you trying to deceive for the purpose of getting money? And people do this on a religious level too. They will deceive the people and their congregations out there. And this ain't all of them. There is some that do this, though. They want to deceive their congregation because they know you will give to them. When you give to them, they figure out ways to pocket it and less for the church. And yes, they do that. Just look around you. Look at the people involved over the years, and you can pick them out. That's just like an ordinary guy down the street deciding he wants to do something to pocket money for himself, and he goes out, maybe sets up a GoFundMe account, but he's doing it to deceive people, and what he's saying it goes for will not go for. And I think GoFundMe is getting really bad that way. GoFundMe's out there for people that need it, and people donate to the people that need it, not to make up some story and go out there and set up an account, because that's deceiving for money. And yes, they do that. Sometimes they're caught, sometimes they're not. And, you know, in the religious sense, deception of what's right has always been there. In other words, if you figure you're a Christian, well, there's going to be others say that they're a Christian, and this is for this, this is for this. Follow me because I'm a religious person. Well, they're a false prophet because all they're doing is trying to get money for themselves. So deception for the purpose of getting money is very prevalent in our society today. We got to sit back, take a good look at what's going on. And it's hard sometimes to figure out which is a deception and which is real, because them pulling the deception out there are really, really good at it and will make a lot of money. If they're not good at it, they get caught real fast. But when you learn how to deceive, like some of them have, they will pocket money at your expense. Always remember, just because you don't see the wrong doesn't mean it don't exist. You need to look very carefully and do what is needed to go forward. You know, a scam is a deception. If you know somebody that's being caught in a scam operation, well, that person was deceptive in doing what he was doing. There's a guy around here that started a Ponzi scheme. Well, he didn't call it obviously a Ponzi scheme, but that's what it come down to. He would take from the top, give to the bottom, or vice versa, depending on the circumstances. But he wound up getting gyms and all kinds of stuff, millions of dollars. And he was so good at it, it took him quite a while to figure out what he was doing. He was good at deception. Now, somebody tells me he still lives around the area. I don't know, because I don't even keep track of him or care about him. I won't even say his name. I know the name of this person. But it is real, and he does exist. And he had a great idea how to pull off a deception, and he did. What was the deception for? Money. Now, some people have a deception for other things too, just not money. Money's a major one to me. You know, as kids, we deceive each other as siblings. That's probably all of us done that at some point. As long as your parents don't catch you doing the deceiving, you're fine. At least mine was. If you wanted to deceive one of your brothers and sisters, and they weren't telling her nothing, you know, that was one thing. But if they found out, boy, you were in trouble. That had nothing to do with money, but it was still a deception to other siblings. And Mom had 5 boys and 5 girls, so, you know, age is way stretched out too. You know, it's just funny in life. Not funny because it's sad that people will go out there and deceive other people, and they know because they're so good at it, they get minions to follow them. And they have no clue what is going on. Jim Jones, no clue a lot of them had to what was going on. Greed and deception set in and took over that whole Jim Jones deal. If you're out there trying to be a preacher for the main reason to deceive and get money, that is wrong. Yes, and people will say, well, he knows his stuff, he can't be deceiving. Wait a minute. If you know your stuff and you know how to do it, you get out there and you preach the gospel in a way that you're going to attract people, but you know in the long run where you want that money to go. That is a deception, because the guy was, Our Lady, was genius enough to know his stuff or her stuff to deceive to get money. And that's in anything you're deceiving for to get money. You have to be smart. A stupid person not going to pull this off. And a lot of other people won't. I'm by far not a stupid person, but I could not pull off something like that. I could not even come close. It's interesting, though, what we'll fall for on the premises of somebody deceiving us for personal gain. And when they get this personal gain, all they do is laugh at us or laugh at everyone that falls for it. Because a person like that really don't have friends. They have acquaintances they're willing to dump off at the first sign of any thing going on that'll put them out in front and show who they are, or they disagree, they will get rid of them. So that's not a friend. That's just somebody that deceives, that has people around them, and the minions think they're his friend or her friend, and they're really not. They don't catch on until it's too late as to what is going on. So, people, be cautious, be alive, and look at what's going on in our lives. Thank you.